Africa has something that the world desperately needs.
The land is at the center of our struggle. There is no human existence without the land. So, there is no freedom without the land.
Dr. Ndlozi is spot on. You see, 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land is right here in Africa. Enter the United Arab Emirates. Kenya's President William Ruto recently wrapped up a visit to the UAE with promises of major investments in agriculture. Amongst the key highlights, the UAE's leasing of the Galana Kulalu project for an ambitious $52 million irrigation venture supposedly aimed at bolstering Kenya's food security. Sounds great, right? But what if this isn't just about feeding Kenyans? For starters, Kenyans themselves can raise that money. We just have to contribute $1 per person. So it's not that we lack $52 million. So let's dive deep into what is really going on here. The UAE imports 90% of its food. Yes, 90%. That makes it extremely vulnerable to global disruptions. To solve this, the UAE has quietly been buying huge tracts of farmland across Africa. Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Sudan, to name but a few. The goal? To feed themselves. And while it might sound like a win-win, there's a hidden cost, especially for Africa. You see, on paper, these deals promise food security, jobs, and economic growth for African nations. But in reality, they often benefit UAE investors and Africa's ruling elites. Locals, they're often left watching as their fertile land and water resources are diverted to export crops, heading straight to UAE supermarkets. All this has an international land-grabbing stench to it. When countries or corporations lease or buy huge tracts of land in developing nations, they control not just the land, but the food it produces. And the contracts, often opaque, negotiated behind closed doors and riddled with loopholes that prioritize foreign interests over local communities. Take the Galana Kulalu project, for instance, the project that President Ruto talked about. It's touted as a solution to Kenya's food insecurity. But ask yourself, why is the UAE, a country 5,000 kilometers away, so interested? Because it's their food insecurity they're solving, not Kenya's. If this trend continues, African nations risk losing control of their own food systems. The UAE's investments in Africa's agriculture are strategic. They're ensuring their own food supply while avoiding the high costs of instability of global food markets. For Africa, the benefits are questionable. Jobs are often low-paying, environmental impacts are ignored, and local farmers are displaced. So what is the solution? Transparency. African governments need to prioritize deals that are truly beneficial to the people. Fair wages, community input, and sustainable practices. And you know what? We can finance these deals ourselves as Africans. And let the people own, let African citizens own the ensuing agricultural projects. Because in this game of food security, Africans shouldn't be the ones going hungry and remaining poor. The UAE's growing agricultural footprint in Africa is a wake-up call. The question is, will African leaders protect their people's interests, or will they sell out their lands to the highest bidder? We, the people, must protect and nurture our land because it is priceless. It cannot be handed on a silver platter to anybody.